2. The whispering winds in the heart of the vast African savanna, where the golden grass swayed like oceans under the fierce sun, there lay a small village called Kijani. The villagers lived simply, tending their cattle, fishing along the riverlands, and gathering fruits from the dense forests that bordered the mountains. But a shadow had begun to stir. One that the elders whispered about only in hushed tones beside the fire at night. It was Amara, a young girl with bright, curious eyes and hair that glistened like the midnight sky under the moonlight, who first noticed the strange occurrences. She had always been different from the other children. Quiet, attentive, and able to hear the subtle murmurs of the wind. One evening, as the sun sank behind the jagged mountains, painting the sky in fiery oranges and deep purples, Amara wandered close to the forest edge. A soft, eerie whisper drifted through the tall grass, sending a shiver down her spine. Amara! Amara! The wind seemed to call. Too, the leaves rustled with voices that were almost human, and the fireflies danced in shapes she had never seen before, like tiny spirits weaving between the trees. She pressed her palm to her chest, feeling her heart race. Back in the village, elders sat around the fire, their faces lined with age and worry. The village drums beat slowly, a rhythm meant to keep the spirits at bay. Yid. The drums tonight felt heavier, as if warning of a great danger approaching. "Something is coming," muttered Elder Cato, his voice deep and gravelly. "The spirits of the mountains and rivers stir. They do not awaken lightly." Amara, though only 12, had learned to respect the words of the elders. But curiosity tugged at her stronger than fear. She wanted to understand the whispers, the voices only she seemed to hear. That night, when the village slept under the silver glow of the moon, she crept away, guided by the wind that called her name. The forest greeted her like an old friend, though its shadows were long and foreboding. The scent of wet earth and blooming night flowers filled the air. Nits, with the faint metallic temps of river water nearby. Owls hooted softly, and somewhere deep in the trees, a leopard's growl echoed, reminding her of the danger she stepped into. Yet, she walked steadily, trusting the strange pull of the wind. As she approached a clearing, the whispers grew louder, now forming words she could understand. "Save them. Only you can. Awaken." The voice trembled like a leaf in the wind, both pleading and urgent. Her skin prickled, and a strange warmth spread from her chest, as if the very essence of the land acknowledged her. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, a majestic, ethereal woman clothed in robes of starlight, her eyes shimmering like the river under the full moon. Amara gasped and stepped back. The figure raised a hand, her voice gentle but commanding. "Child of Kijani, the balance of life is breaking. Your village is in danger. The spirits of the ancient lands have been disturbed, and only one with a pure heart can restore them." Amara's legs trembled. "But I am only a girl. How can I?" "True, you will not be alone," the spirit replied. "The path is dangerous, filled with trials. The forests, mountains, and rivers themselves will test your courage. Listen to the whispers, trust your heart, and the spirits will guide you." Before Amara could respond, the figure vanished, leaving only the faint scent of jasmine and a soft glow that faded into the night. The wind carried a final whisper, "Awaken the spirits, before it is too late." Amara ran back to the village, her mind a whirlwind of fear and wonder. The elders would warn her to stay near the fire, to avoid wandering at night. But the call of the spirits had already taken root deep within her soul. She knew that this was no ordinary adventure. This was a journey that could decide the fate of her home. As the first stars appeared in the indigo sky, the drums of Kijani pulsed in the distance. Yet tonight, they no longer felt like protection. They felt like a heartbeat of warning, counting down the hours before an unseen threat descended upon the village. Amara sat by her window, staring at the shadows of the forest, swaying in the moonlight. Somewhere in the whispering wind, she heard the spirits again, soft but insistent. Her journey had begun, and there was no turning back. The savanna stretched endlessly before her, mysterious and magical, holding secrets older than the mountains themselves. And as the night deepened, Amara whispered a vow to the spirits. "I will save my village, no matter what awaits." The Forest of Whispers, the sun rose over the savanna like a golden drumbeat, casting long shadows across the village of Kijani. The birds chirped nervously, as if sensing the unrest in the air. Amara could not sleep. Her mind was alive with the whispers of the spirits and the ethereal figure she had seen the night before. Every sound, the rustling of leaves, the soft coo of doves, the distant murmur of the river seemed to carry a secret message meant only for her. By dawn, she had packed a small bundle of food, a water gourd, and the clay amulet her grandmother had given her for protection. It was said to hold the blessings of the ancestors. She whispered goodbye to her sleeping parents, careful not to wake them. Her feet, bare against the cool earth, carried her silently toward the edge of the forest. The Forest of Whispers was alive. The trees leaned over as if listening, their leaves shimmering with a strange silver glow. Sunlight pierced through the dense canopy in thin, dancing beams, lighting the mossy floor like emerald rivers. Strange flowers opened to the morning, releasing scents that were sweet yet tangy, almost intoxicating. Thoi. The wind carried voices again, soft and layered, calling her name and urging her forward. Amara's first challenge came sooner than she expected. A brook of black water twisted through the forest, its surface shimmering like liquid night. As she stepped onto the stones, a sudden current surged, whispering threats in a language she did not know. Thordas seemed alive, curling around her feet and testing her balance. She closed her eyes, remembered the amulet, and whispered a prayer taught by Elder Cato. Slowly, the current eased, letting her cross safely, leaving a faint echo of laughter behind, playful, yet chilling. The deeper she walked, the darker the forest became. A chorus of nocturnal creatures, crickets and owls filled the air with strange rhythms. Suddenly, the trees parted to reveal a circle of ancient stones, engraved with carvings of spirits, hunters, and animals she recognized from the elders' stories. In the center lay a shallow pool reflecting the sky. Amara knelt by the water. The reflection shimmered. And suddenly she saw not only herself, but images of the village people gathering at the river, their faces fearful, shadows creeping over them. A shiver ran down her spine. The spirits were warning her. Time was running out. From behind the stones, a small figure emerged. It was a fox, but unlike any fox she had seen. Its fur shimmered with silver and gold, and its eyes glowed with intelligence. It spoke, though its mouth did not move. "Follow me, child of Kijani. Danger grows near, but courage will guide you." Amara hesitated, but felt an undeniable pull. She followed the fox through twisted roots and hidden paths, deeper into the heart of the forest. The trees here were taller, their trunks wide and dark as obsidian. Strange sounds filled the air, whispers of laughter, sobs, and cries that seemed to come from the earth itself. Her skin prickled, and the hairs on her arms stood on end. Suddenly, the fox stopped at a clearing filled with glowing mushrooms. Their light was soft and green, illuminating the outline of a creature asleep beneath a tree. Its body was covered in scales, glistening like wet gems. It exhaled slowly, and the sound was like rolling thunder. Amara froze. Nez was no ordinary creature, was one of the ancient guardians, said to protect the spirits of the land. The fox nudged her forward. "Do not fear. It tests your heart. Speak with truth and humility." Amara swallowed hard. She stepped closer, bowing her head in respect. "I come for my village," she whispered. "The spirits called me. I seek to restore balance, to save my people." The creature opened one eye bright, golden, and piercing. A low rumble filled the clearing. "Many come seeking power, few come with pure hearts. If you falter, the forest will claim you. Aya, ready to face what lies ahead." Amara's heart pounded. She could feel the weight of the forest, of the spirits, of the unknown. Yet she nodded. "I am ready." The guardian exhaled, and the ground shook gently. A pathway of golden light appeared, winding through the darkest part of the forest. The fox turned to her, tail flicking. "Follow this path. Danger and discovery await. But remember, courage without wisdom will not save you." Amara took a deep breath, feeling the soft wind brush her face, the scent of wet leaves and flowers filling her senses. With each step, the whispers of the spirits grew stronger, a chorus guiding her, warning her, and challenging her resolve. She was no longer a child wandering at the forest edge. She was a seeker, chosen by the spirits to face trials that could shape the fate of her village. As the sun rose higher, beams of light danced on the path ahead. Shadows shifted in the underbrush, and she could sense the eyes of creatures unseen, watching, waiting. Every sound, the snap of a twig, the distant call of a hornbill, the rustle of leaves felt, charged with meaning. Amara's journey had truly begun, and with every heartbeat, the forest tested her, whispered to her, and beckoned her onward into the unknown. The hidden shrine, the forest path glowed faintly under the golden light that the guardian had revealed. Amara's heart beat like a drum, each step carrying her deeper into the shadows and wonders of the ancient woods. The fox trotted silently beside her, its eyes glowing in the dim light, always alert, always guiding. The whispers of the spirits grew stronger, shifting from warnings to urgent instructions. After hours of walking, Amara arrived at a mist-shrouded river that flowed with water darker than the night sky. The surface reflected not only the surrounding trees, but also ghostly images of villagers, crying, cattle fleeing, crops withering. The fox stopped at the edge of the river and tilted its head. "The path ends here. But the spirits are near. Only truth and courage can reveal the way." Amara looked around. There were no stones to cross, no bridge to walk on. She took a deep breath and whispered, "I seek to save Kajani. I offer my heart and my honesty." The river rippled violently, and from its center, a stone emerged, glowing faintly with carvings of ancient symbols. It formed a bridge across the river, its step pulsing beneath her feet like the beat of a giant drum. She crossed carefully, the sounds of rushing water mingling with the distant call of forest birds. At the far side, the fox stopped once more, bowing its head toward a hidden shrine covered in vines and moss. The shrine was carved from dark stone, worn by centuries, yet the symbols on its walls shone as if lit from within. Thea, in the center, a statue of a spirit part human, part animal, stood with arms outstretched. Its eyes were gems that seemed alive, watching Amara with silent intensity. The air was thick with the scent of incense, flowers, and something metallic, like old magic. As Amara approached, the ground trembled. From the shadows emerged a figure wrapped in a cloak of midnight, a being with eyes like molten gold. She was the spirit keeper, guardian of the ancient shrine. Her voice echoed, both soft and commanding. "Child of Kajani, you have passed the forest's trials. But courage alone is not enough. To awaken the spirits and save your village, you must uncover the truth, hidden here for centuries." Amara stepped closer, feeling the weight of history and mystery pressing on her small shoulders. "I am ready. Please, tell me what I must do." The spirit keeper lifted a hand, revealing a crystal orb, glowing with swirling colors of green, blue, and gold. Images flickered within, the village burning, the river drying, and a dark shadow stretching over the savanna. Long ago, the Spirit Keeper began. The balance of life was protected by our ancestors. But a force of greed and anger disturbed the harmony. The spirits were trapped in slumber. Only one with a heart pure and brave can awaken them. You must place your amulet upon the altar, speak the words of the ancient chant, and face the test of the spirits themselves. Amara's hands trembled as she held the clay amulet. Its surface felt warm, alive with energy. The fox brushed against her leg, a comforting presence in the heavy air. She nodded and stepped forward, placing the amulet on the altar. As she began the chant, the shrine shook. Shadows stretched along the walls, forming shapes of animals, ancestors, and spirits long forgotten. A cold wind swept through, carrying whispers of doubt. You cannot do this. You are too small. You will fail. Amara's eyes filled with tears, but she clenched her fists and spoke louder. Choose, each word infused with faith and determination. The shadows paused, and then the shrine was bathed in light. The spirit statue's eyes glowed brighter, and the whispers transformed into voices of guidance. Suddenly, the fox transformed, its body radiant with energy, revealing its true form, a guardian spirit of the forest, tasked with guiding the chosen one. The spirits awaken, but the danger grows. If the darkness that threatens your village moves faster than you can imagine, you must act soon. Amara felt a surge of power and responsibility. She realized that saving Kijani was not only about courage, but also wisdom and quick thinking. The shrine whispered secrets, hidden paths through the forest, sacred herbs to heal. And the true source of the imbalance, a shadow that fed on fear and anger, grown stronger each day. The Spirit Keeper spoke one final time. You have discovered the path, but the trials are far from over. Darkness waits beyond the mountains and rivers. Only by facing it directly can you restore balance. Go, child of Kijani, and awaken the ancient spirits. With renewed determination, Amara gathered her courage. She felt the amulet's warmth seep into her hands, heart, and mind. She could hear the forest, the rivers, the wind all alive with voices of support. She was no longer just a girl. She was a guardian in training, chosen to bridge the world of humans and spirits. Stepping away from the shrine, Amara glanced back once. The crystal orb shimmered, showing her village safe for now, but under threat. Her heart tightened. Every step now mattered. The journey ahead would be perilous, but she was ready. The spirits had revealed their secrets, and she would carry them to protect the people she loved. As she followed the glowing path back into the forest, the fox walked beside her, now fully transformed, its golden eyes reflecting both wisdom and mischief. The wind carried whispers of encouragement and warnings alike. Amara felt the weight of the mission pressing upon her shoulders. But for the first time, she knew she could face whatever lay ahead. The journey to awaken the spirit and save her village was only beginning. Shadow of fear, the forest grew darker as Amara followed the glowing path beyond the hidden shrine. Though the golden light of the shrine still lingered in her heart, the air outside felt heavier, almost suffocating. The whispers of the spirits were no longer gentle guidance. They carried urgency and unease. There, every step she took seemed to echo with a chorus of voices, warning her of danger yet unseen. The fox, now fully radiant, padded silently beside her. Its golden eyes scanned the shadows, alerting her to every flicker of movement. Suddenly, the wind shifted violently, carrying with it a cold, suffocating presence. Leaves trembled, and the distant calls of birds and animals fell silent. The forest seemed to hold its breath. From the shadows, a figure emerged dark as the midnight sky, with eyes glowing like embers. It was the shadow, the force that had disturbed the spirits and threatened Kijani. Its form shifted constantly, sometimes human, sometimes animal, sometimes smoke curling into the shapes of the villagers. Its voice was like the rustling of dead leaves, chilling and hollow. So, The little girl comes to challenge me. It hissed. Do you truly believe you can awaken the spirits and save your village? Amara's hand shook, but she gripped her amulet tightly. I must try. I cannot let you harm my people. She shouted, her voice steady, despite the fear gnawing at her heart. The shadow laughed, a sound like cracking bones. You think courage alone is enough. Fear is stronger than any spirit. I will show you your deepest fears. Fear. In an instant, the forest around her shifted. The path disappeared, replaced by swirling mists. The air thickened with images that made Amara's heart clench. She saw her village burning, her parents screaming, her friends vanishing into shadows. She saw herself fail, powerless and alone, while the shadow grew larger and stronger with every tear she shed. Tears stung her eyes, and for a moment, Amara felt hopeless. Her legs felt like lead, her voice caught in her throat. The shadow loomed over her, its eyes glowing brighter, feeding on her fear. Then she remembered the words of the Spirit Keeper. Courage without wisdom will not save you. Trust your heart. Amara closed her eyes and focused on the warmth of her amulet. She remembered the laughter of her friends, the scent of fresh river water, the rhythmic beating of the village drums that had guided generations. I am not alone, she whispered. The spirits are with me. My heart is my strength. The amulet glowed fiercely, casting golden light that cut through the swirling shadows. The images of destruction shattered like glass. The shadow roared in anger, the sound shaking the trees, but it could not touch her. She opened her eyes and saw the fox grow larger, its body radiating pure light, forming a protective shield around her. Amara took a deep breath and stepped forward. I am not afraid, she said firmly. You cannot harm my village. I face you with truth and courage. The shadow hesitated. Its form flickered, revealing cracks in its dark surface. The light of the amulet and the fox began to push it back, forcing it to retreat slowly. But the shadow would not vanish entirely. It hissed promises of vengeance, warning that the journey ahead would only grow harder. As the mist cleared, Amara saw the forest restored around her. The glowing path reappeared, winding through the trees like a ribbon of hope. Though her legs trembled and her heart still raced, she realized something profound. Courage alone would not save her. But facing her fear and trusting the spirit's guidance would. The fox nudged her gently, as if congratulating her. You have passed the trial of fear. Remember, child of Kajani, the greatest battles test not only your strength, but also your heart. The shadow will return, stronger and more cunning. You must prepare. Amara nodded, understanding the truth of the words. This conflict was not only physical, it was spiritual and emotional. She had glimpsed the shadow's power, but she had also discovered her own, a connection to the spirits. Her bravery and her unwavering love for her village were stronger than any darkness. The sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows that stretched across the forest floor. Amara's journey was far from over, but she now carried a deeper understanding of herself and the path ahead. Each heartbeat echoed with determination, each breath filled with the whispers of ancestors guiding her forward. As night fell, the forest came alive again with the soft sounds of nocturnal life, crickets, frogs, and the gentle rustle of leaves. The path ahead was still uncertain, the shadows still lurking, but Amara's resolve had solidified. She would face whatever trials awaited, awaken the ancient spirits, and save her village, no matter the cost. The forest, once menacing, now felt like a living companion. Its colors deepened in the moonlight, the scent of flowers and damp earth comforting her senses. She was no longer a girl, wandering alone. She was a chosen guardian, carrying the hope of Kajani and the power of the spirits with every step. The journey toward the climax of her adventure had begun. and the shadow's darkness could only challenge her courage, not break it. The awakening battle night had fully descended over the savanna, painting the land in shades of deep indigo and silver. The wind whispered through the trees and grass, carrying secrets from the mountains and rivers alike. Amara stood at the edge of the forest, where the glowing path ended, staring toward her village in the distance. Smoke rose faintly from the horizon, signs that the shadow had already begun its assault. The fox, now shining brilliantly like a living lantern, circled her protectively. The spirits are ready to awaken, but the final test lies ahead. You must confront the shadow and channel the power of the ancients. Only then can your village be saved. Amara's heart pounded. Fear still lingered, but it was tempered with determination. She tightened her grip on the amulet and began to chant the words taught by the spirit keeper. As her voice rose, the golden light of the amulet spread outward, weaving through the forest and across the savanna, touching every leaf, stone, and river ripple with power. Run. The shadow appeared, taller and darker than before, its eyes glowing red like molten fire. Its form shifted constantly, now taking the shape of villagers she had known, of her parents, even herself, mocking her courage. You think your light can challenge me? I am eternal. I feed on fear, on despair, on doubt. Amara stepped forward, her voice steady, despite the fear creeping into her bones. I do not fight alone. The spirits of my ancestors, the creatures of the forest, the river, and the mountains are with me. You cannot win. The shadow roared, sending waves of darkness across the savanna. Trees bent, and the wind screamed like a chorus of lost souls. Amara closed her eyes, netting. The warmth of the amulet and the fox's presence flow into her. She pictured her village, the children playing, her parents' gentle smiles, the elders' wise faces. Every image fueled her resolve. Suddenly, the amulet shone brighter than the moon, casting beams of golden light into the sky. Spirits emerged, luminous and ethereal. Ancestors, forest guardians, river spirits, and mountain protectors, each radiating power and wisdom. Their voices joined Amara's chant, forming a symphony that resonated through the land, shaking the shadow with the force of ancient magic. The shadow howled, shrinking under the light. It lunged at Amara, taking the form of her deepest fear version of herself, trembling and powerless. But Amara did not falter. She raised the amulet high, and a wave of energy surged from her heart, flowing through the spirits, through the land, and into the shadow. The battle was fierce. Darkness and light collided, sending sparks into the night sky like fireflies on fire. The wind carried the sounds of roaring beasts, pounding drums, and chanting spirits. Amara's body ached, but her determination never wavered. She remembered the Spirit Keeper's words. Courage, wisdom, and love will awaken the spirits fully. With a final cry, Amara stepped forward, her heart open and her soul shining. I command you, Shatu, leave this land. The spirits of Africa awaken, and you have no place here. The amulet blazed, the fox's radiant form leaped beside her, and the spirits converged into a brilliant sphere of golden, green, and blue light. The shadow screamed, its form shattering like smoke in the wind. Every piece of darkness dissolved, absorbed by the awakened spirits, leaving only silence. When the light faded, Amara stood alone for a moment, breathing heavily. The forest and savanna were calm, bathed in silver moonlight. The distant village glowed softly, safe and untouched. The whispers of the spirits turned gentle, singing praises and blessings for her courage. The fox, now returning to its smaller, playful form, nuzzled her hand. You have succeeded, child of Kajani. The balance is restored. The shadow will not return as long as the spirits remain honored. Amara looked toward the mountains, the rivers, and the forests. Feeling the connection between herself, the land, and the spirits, she understood now that the power to protect her village had always been within her. Strengthened by her love, courage, and respect for the world around her. As dawn approached, the first rays of sunlight painted the savanna gold. The drums in the village began to beat naturally, their rhythm a celebration rather than a warning. Amara returned, tired but triumphant, greeted by the relieved smiles of her parents, the laughter of friends, and the wise nods of the elders. She had faced darkness, embraced her fears, and awakened the ancient spirits to save her home. The journey had tested her in ways she had never imagined, but it had also revealed her true strength. Courage, guided by love and wisdom, could overcome even the most powerful darkness. The whispers of the forest, the river, and the mountains now spoke of harmony, protection, and the timeless bond between humans and spirits. Amara knew that this was only the beginning of her path as a guardian, but for now, she allowed herself to feel joy. The village of Kajani was safe. The spirits of Africa had awakened once more, shining brightly in the night and promising guidance to those who honored them. She held the amulet close, whispering a vow into the dawn. I will protect this land, honor the spirits, and guide my people with courage and love. Light of harmony, the sun rose over Kajani, painting the savanna in warm hues of gold and amber. Birds chirped joyfully, and the river sparkled like a ribbon of liquid crystal. The village, once shadowed by fear, now thrummed with life. Smoke from the morning fires mingled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, carried by the gentle wind that rustled the tall grass. Mara walked through the village, her steps steady, her heart light. Children ran to greet her, laughing and pointing to the glowing amulet around her neck. Her parents embraced her, their eyes filled with tears and relief. Even the elders, wise and cautious, bowed with respect, acknowledging the courage of the young girl who had faced darkness and emerged victorious. Slaughter around the village. The land itself seemed renewed. Trees straightened, their leaves shimmering under the sun. The river flowed clearer than ever, reflecting the sky like a mirror. Animals returned to the forests and fields, as if the balance of nature itself had been restored. The villagers could feel Etten invisible energy humming through the earth, the wind, and the water, a sign that the spirits had awakened and were watching over them. Amara climbed the small hill at the center of Kajani, holding the amulet tightly. She looked out over the village, then toward the distant mountains and forests that had guided her journey. Memories of the trials she had faced crossing the black water, facing the shadow, and listening to the whispers of the spirits flash through her mind. Each challenge had tested not only her courage, but also her wisdom, patience, and compassion. She remembered the fox, now sitting quietly beside her, its golden eyes reflecting pride and gentle humor. You have done more than awaken the spirits, child of Kajani. You have reminded your people of the power of courage, love, and unity. Amara nodded. She realized that the journey had changed her forever. It had taught her that true strength was not in fighting alone, but in trusting others, honoring the past, and standing firm in the face of fear. The villagers gathered around her, and Elder Cato spoke, his voice trembling with emotion. Amara, you have not only saved Kajani, but have also awakened the lessons of our ancestors. The spirits live among us, in the river, the forests, and the mountains. But they can only remain if we honor them with respect, kindness, and courage. Amara smiled, her eyes shining. I will help teach our people. 2. The balance of life is precious. We must live in harmony with the spirits and each other, and face our fears with wisdom and bravery. From the hills and forests, faint whispers drifted on the wind, gentle and soothing. The spirits themselves seemed to murmur in approval, blessing the village and its people. The fox brushed against Amara's leg, treads transforming briefly into a small spark of golden light that danced in the morning sun before disappearing into the sky. Celebrations began in the village. Drums beat a lively rhythm, children danced with joy, and the elders shared stories of the ancient spirits and the brave girl who had restored balance. The fires of the night now glowed as warmth and comfort. No longer a warning, but a symbol of unity and hope. Amara walked through the village, watching people embrace, helping neighbors repair fences, and sharing food with those in need. She saw how fear had been replaced by trust, how despair had turned into hope. Her heart swelled with pride and humility. As evening fell, Amara returned to the forest's edge, the amulets still glowing softly. Shet! The wind whispered through the trees, carrying a gentle lesson. She listened carefully, understanding its meaning. Courage is powerful, but it must be guided by wisdom. Fear will challenge you, but love and unity can overcome even the darkest forces. Respect the past, honor the spirits, and protect your community. For the true strength of a people lies not in one hero, but in the harmony between all living things. Amara knelt and placed her hands on the soft earth, feeling the pulse of the land beneath her fingers. The forest, river, and mountains seemed to hum in response, a silent affirmation of her vow to protect, guide, and honor the spirits and her village. She rose and looked at Kijani, glowing under the last rays of sunset. She knew that the path ahead would still have challenges. But now she carried something far greater than fear, hope, courage, and the wisdom of the ancestors. And so, the girl who had once heard whispers in the wind became a guardian of her people. A bridge between the human world and the spirits of Africa. Her story would be told for generations, a tale of bravery, love, and the eternal harmony between nature, spirits, and humanity. The night settled softly over Kijani, stars twinkling like sparks of the awakened spirits. And for the first time in many seasons, the village slept peacefully. Protected by courage, guided by wisdom, and embraced by the ancient spirits of the land.